Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Before the Buzzer. It's your boy Adam here with Alex live from Davis. And Alex, have you seen Cheyenne?
No, I haven't, bro. Where's he at?
I don't know. And oh my gosh, it's Cheyenne live here from my house.
Yo, he's
How you
here.
been, boy? Yes, sir.
We got Cheyenne here in the house.
He's in the cut.
For Before the Buzzer. You know, we're doing big things out here. We got Cheyenne live here with me. We're
In-person
excited.
episode. This
We're
is
excited.
big. This is big.
Now think about it. This is the first time most of the viewers could actually see my face because the camera quality is
Yeah, the
trash.
camera quality is good
Yeah.
now. We can all
No,
see
man.
Cheyenne perfectly
Exactly,
clear.
bro. You know, in the
Jack is
NBA
here.
with this Kevin Durant shirt, even though they lost last night,
That's tough, though.
Pitch
Gotta show
does like
love.
a certain LeBron shirt.
Yeah.
Rich, how are we doing this week?
10 likes and sorry?
How are we doing? How are we,
No.
no, don't show that shirt.
I will not
Rich,
show that.
how are we doing this week, Rich?
We're doing all right. Had a busy week, and then I got sick at the weekend. So I have my trusty toilet roll right here to blow my nose throughout the episode. So if you see me dying in the corner of your screen, or if it cuts to me or whatever, but this is be warned. But this is our flu week today. This is our flu
Yes,
game.
sir. Yes, sir.
Charles a little bit sick. I'm
Yes, sir.
sick.
Got my little
Um,
tissue box over here. Shout out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's when you gotta be elite in this. When you're trying to be elite in the podcast game, you gotta
Yeah.
fight through adversity. You know, and this is
Exactly.
something we're trying to get good at.
Bro, we're not
Yeah,
like DeAndre
honestly.
Ayton out here, bro. We ain't
Exactly.
ducking,
Yeah.
bro.
We are dominating. You know.
Exactly.
So the alter
Dominating.
ego. Dominating.
We are
yeah.
dominating, not getting
He might
dominated.
be him.
Pause.
All right.
So yeah,
all right.
let's go to work. Let's work today.
All right, let's work, boys. So we got to start with the glorious king, LeBron James.
The
40,000
bonbon.
points. He hit you with a little 4K, you know, or 40K actually. 40K.
On our fourth episode too. Showing respect.
Lakers lost, of course, because you know it was a big game. That was a free bet. If
To
you
the
didn't
Nuggets
think
too.
it
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I did have that free bet.
let's start with LeBron. You know his legacy. Pritch, obviously, LeBron very decorated. 40K is a major accomplishment. As if you're listening, Pritch will be coughing a couple times and have to go on mute today.
I think I successfully muted in time. So but yeah, just as a slight warning. But don't worry, it's gonna be. I'm gonna soldier through it. Let's go.
But Pritch, LeBron gets 40K. Probably not his biggest accomplishment because he's done so much. But what does that mean to his legacy as we look back one day at how he's finished as a player?
I mean, it's cool, right? It's definitely cool. You know, definitely something that's not gonna be broken for a very long time. If within our lifetime, right? It's a very. I'd say it really depends. I don't think it's going to be broken necessarily. But I think him breaking the scoring record is more impactful than 40K personally. Just because I think in terms at this point he's just breaking record upon record, right? With the scoring, like every point he scores is a new record. So him hitting 40K isn't necessarily that important. But ever since he's hit the scoring record when he beat Kareem, that was his moment. That was like the main thing, right? At this point, it's just icing on the LeBron cake.
You go, hey.
Yes, sir. Bro, the thing about 40K is, though, it literally puts LeBron in a category of his own. No one else ever can say, no one else so far can say that they have scored 40,000 points in the NBA. So LeBron is actually just like up there by himself. And we may not see that ever. Might take, who knows, another 30, 50 years, however long it takes. But right now, this is LeBron's moment. His first one to 40,000. And it's probably going to stay that way for a long time.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. You bring up that point. I don't know if anyone's going to catch him. I mean, you think in today's game, maybe a Luka could make a run at it, but it'd be tough. He'd have to play for as many years as LeBron and keep up these averages. I mean, what he's just done is unparalleled. The closest thing you can think of is maybe a Kareem in terms of a guy that played that long and was able to sustain those numbers for that long. But in today's game, I think Luka's probably the only guy that could maybe make a run at catching him, but I don't think he'll catch him. And
Luka and Wemby.
And Wemby, yeah, Wemby could definitely make a run at it, but he'd have to. I always get scared with those big guys, and thinking how long they could end up playing till 39. I don't know if Wemby could do that. But in terms
and also be this effective too, right? Like it's a two-way thing. You have to be playing. I mean, the thing with Kareem, right, is that he came into the league at like 22 because of the draft rules, right? And he still played for that long to break the record and shit without threes as well, you know? But I think in the modern game, it's just not going to happen personally, you know? I think Luka is probably the best bet out of current guys, but I think to have the longevity and to play as many games as LeBron and to keep these averages up. And also, he came into the league since he was like 18 and has been like dominating, right? Which is something no one else can really say. And is no longer possible, right, with the new rules. I think a lot of it is going to depend on rule changes and how the league decides to change defense and and where they want to make games a little bit lower scoring to kind of return to more of like classic feel to it, make it more competitive. And then as you with Wemby, right, like he's a big guy. He's 7'4" and he's pretty like skinny. You know what I mean? Even though he's been very good at not getting hurt. It seems it's hard to bet on that, especially considering he's more of a defensive player, right? He's not known for his offensive ability the same way like LeBron is or Kareem was. He's an amazing defender, a transcendent defender. That's going to be probably the best of our generation, right? So wherever he being bothers to get to that amount of scoring, it's going to be like something to watch over too. But yeah, I don't think anyone's breaking LeBron's thing in the next like 30 years or so. And again, it really depends on the trends of defense and stuff like that in the upcoming years.
All right, going to the team as a whole. I mean, the Lakers, they got to be the greatest team at losing on games where there's like something historical going on or they're honoring someone. Because every time they honor Kobe or LeBron breaks a record, they lose. It's guaranteed. And it always happens to be the Nuggets too. I don't know why they always play the Nuggets on these days where something historical happens. But Cheyenne, any thoughts on the loss? They actually came out strong in the first half and kind of gave that game away. Denver, I feel like, really imposed their will at the end of the game. Sorry, Cheyenne had to go. But I feel like Denver kind of imposed their will at the end of that game. Lakers really had no answer. You look and say, well, maybe if you had a Jared Vanderbilt, things change. But overall, they just have to be better on that end of the on that end of the court because Denver really. Man, everyone's just coughing today.
Just ignore me on coughing, okay? Just keep going.
Denver really was just going at the Lakers, and they had no answer in that last stretch of the game. I mean, you think coming out of the second half, really, I mean, they really dominated that game and put the Lakers away in that fourth quarter, even with a run from the purple and gold. So, Cheyenne, any thoughts on
first
the
of
Lakers'
all,
performance?
I know the Nuggets are a great team, and I know the Lakers lose. Bro, someone just has to drug test like the entire team once it hits the fourth quarter, bro. The Nuggets always hit some BS shots, bro. Against the Lakers, bro.
Jokic stuff.
No, bro. They just
hit it.
Bro, throws some shit up, just goes off the backboard. Bro, come on, bro. Dude, drug test that boy. I'm sorry, bro.
I mean, but he's the best player in the league by far.
Yeah, I know, but like, bro, it always happens against the Lakers too, bro. That's kind of crazy, bro. Like,
the thing is,
that actually
his shots aren't
bro.
that crazy. I think it's more that he looks so unnatural while doing them. You know what I mean? He looks like me when he plays. Like,
yeah, for real.
Uncoordinated white blob.
You just throw some.
I'm more bold.
Yeah, except you don't make it though. No, you don't make the shots he makes, bro. Don't
yes.
Bro,
I'm good at hitting those shots.
I've seen it. No, Prince, you are not Nicole.
Okay, Mr. fucking fat.
Daniel Tice.
Daniel Tice.
I'm not Daniel Tice. I can shoot. I don't know. I'm more of a.
You can shoot as well as Daniel Tice can.
Okay, he's an NBA player. I'll take that. But
no. I mean, like comparison.
What? Not as okay. That's hating, but I can shoot.
All right. But I did the game.
Boo.
They were playing really well in the first half. D'Angelo Russell, he had like 17, I think, at halftime, but he ended the game with 19 points. I think like they kind of gone away from him, especially in the fourth quarter, choosing to play Cam Reddish over him in a bulk of the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure Reddish played the second most minutes to LeBron in the fourth quarter, which I don't really understand why. But one person who I don't understand was playing so much PT. Spencer Dinwiddie, bro. He's best when the ball is in his hands, but because of who we have, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, LeBron, the ball is never gonna be in his hands, and he's never gonna be able to play as well as he can. Instead, he's just in the corner where he's not really that effective. So I don't understand why he got so much PT. At that point, then just put someone in who could just spot up, shoot, play defense. Put in anyone else. His minutes are so ineffective, and that's when the Nuggets started coming back a bit. Do it late third quarter, early fourth quarter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Dinwiddie he's always been kind of a weird acquisition. We talked about this in the pod before. He's just not really a good fit in general. And with the D'Lo thing, yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I think D'Lo isn't necessarily someone you want when in those big moments, just because he's such a defensive liability, because he isn't going to be able to really stop anyone, which is why you need guys like Reddish, right? And to me, it does make sense why D'Lo's. But as you said, like D'Lo's great in the first half, second half kind of fell off a little bit. They need more out of him offensively in order for him to be on the court in those moments and to be like a good second option, second/third option, I guess, with like depending on the situation. Adam, Lakers loop. What do you think?
You know, I think it comes down to the defensive end because, offensively, 114 for the Lakers isn't horrible. I think the main reason they did go to Cam Reddish in that fourth quarter was because of, his supposed defensive prowess. They want to get a guy out there that can potentially go out and guard a Jamal Murray. But, I mean, I don't know if you can point to a game that exemplifies more of how much the Lakers miss a guy like Jared Vanderbilt. I mean, he really is their main on-ball stopper, a guy that masks some of the defensive issues they have when they have D'Lo and Austin Reeves on the floor. It becomes more difficult to play those guys on the floor at the same time when you don't have a guy like Vanderbilt. And that's not even talking about anything else that he does with his rebounding, whether it be offensive, getting second chance opportunities. And so they do miss a guy like that, but overall they just have to be better on the defensive end. At this point in the season, it's not like they're going to go out and get anyone that's going to mask any of those issues. So, I mean, I think Lakers fans have accepted that Denver probably isn't a great matchup if they run into Denver. I don't know if that's going to be a team that they can beat in a 7
They got swept last year and they have lost every game this year.
Well, I'll say this. I think
they're not a good matchup.
I don't want to gas up Vanderbilt so much, but I believe they've played the Nuggets 3 times this year. 2 times at least they haven't had Vanderbilt, to my knowledge, because they didn't have them opening night. They didn't have them last night. But overall, Denver came out. They won the game in the fourth quarter. They were the better team in that second half, and the Lakers really just let that one slip away. I knew they were going to lose because something historical happened, so that was a guaranteed win for Denver. The Lakers always fall flat in those games. But, at this point in the season, I've kind of accepted that if the Lakers don't get healthy, I think they're capped at a second-round exit. If they do get healthy, then we'll see what happens. But right now, without Vanderbilt,
okay, okay, all right.
I can't even measure Gabe Vincent's value because I haven't seen him in forever. I'm not banking on him to come back. Yeah. But I think Jared Vanderbilt's value, he's at least the 5th most valuable player on this team. You could argue even 3rd or 4th, just because of what he brings to a team that is devoid of really any on-ball stoppers. You have Reddish in there, but he's been in and out of the lineup as well. So I think Vanderbilt covers up a lot of their defensive issues. They got to get him back and healthy, but Denver just might be a bad matchup for the Lakers.
Okay, so first of all, they are a bad matchup. I think it's pretty evident. There's lost 7 in a row to the Nuggets. Sorry, I think it's fair to say at this point they are a bad matchup. I don't think Lakers can stop Jokic or Murray. I know this is something I don't think Vanderbilt is a missing piece because they swept them last year, right? If Vanderbilt was that crucial, they would have at least won a game last year, right? Personally, Murray and Jokic just eviscerated the Lakers last year, And I think it's fair to say that, the Lakers are arguably worse this year or been playing worse so far this year than they did last year in the playoffs, right? I don't think that's really up for debate. Regardless of injuries, they're just not as good. LeBron's 1 year older. AD's not looking as. Offensively, I don't think AD's been as strong as he has been in the past, right? Or personally, in my opinion. And then Reeves isn't playing as well as he was playing in the playoffs, right? Reeves was a bona fide, legitimate third option in the playoffs this season. He's been more hit and miss, even though he had a good game against the Nuggets last time, Saturday. But yeah, personally, I just think there's no way in the hell the Lakers beat Nuggets in a series. There's no way. I just don't see any possible outcome, even with everyone healthy. Unless Jokic or Murray gets hurt, there's no way in hell. Which means personally that there's no way in hell Lakers can go to the finals or even realistically go to the conference.
Well, I
finals.
mean,
Rich, if the Lakers beat the Nuggets in the playoffs, will you give me $20?
Yeah, on God.
well, I
Sign
mean,
me up.
there's also a chance that a team, knocks off the Nuggets before the Lakers run into them. You don't know how the
If
standings-
that happens, will you still give me the $20?
That's not valid anymore. I'm saying Lakers do not
Well,
beat the. Okay, but Lakers have to get to that stage, right? Lakers have to get to the stage. So this is second round plus for them to actually have that happen, right? Because Nuggets are going to lose in like the play. They're going to lose in like the play-in, right? Or no,
They're
they
not
can't.
losing.
Sorry, they don't. Sorry, excuse me. They're not going to lose to like they're going to lose like an 8 seed or a 7 seed. Probably, right?
they're gonna make it to
Like,
at least the second round.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that means the Lakers have to be in the conference finals by that point. If that's making sense. And I don't think a team's necessarily going to beat Denver. I don't think there's any proof of that so far in the West. I think there's a pretty clear gap, especially in terms of playoff resume and how teams have looked. They're still the defending champions, returning a good amount of their team and having a ton of young players getting better. Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, Justin Holiday was good with KCP being missing. I think it was KCP. Yeah, KCP. Yeah, he was missing. So like he steps up. They have guys I think contribute in a series really well. I like their team. I don't think there's any really real debate about. I think they're by far they should be the favorites, right?
I think.
But I don't think Lakers can beat them. Or honestly, I don't think. I think Lakers cap is. I agree, probably a second round exit, but only because they can catch a team. Only in like the likelihood that they catch a team like the Timberwolves in the first round who just like fall apart. Like that's the only real reason, only way I can see them winning in the first round.
Or the Thunder.
The Thunder,
I think are too.
Well,
Thunder, I think are too good. I think there's just a talent thing there and just a
Let's-
fit with the roster. I
let's
think
go
Giddy
to
wouldn't play.
They play soon.
Wait, one
though.
second.
The Thunder.
I think in that
the
series,
Thunder
Giddy
play the
doesn't
Lakers
play.
tonight.
Thunder do play the Lakers tonight. We shall
Okay,
see.
cool.
The Lakers have not lost to the Thunder this year. We will see. Third time, maybe is a charm for the Thunder. But we're gonna see tonight. But the Thunder actually played last night, so coming off a back-to-back.
Oh, what a transition right there. I like that.
Thunder. OKC played the Suns last night. I was watching that game late last night, and
Wait, no, but Lakers. Wait, hold on. One second. Thunder beat the Lakers earlier in the season.
what was that?
Oh
yeah, they did. No,
the
the Lakers are 2-1, I believe, against the Thunder.
Yeah,
Easy.
2-1.
yeah.
So
got you.
They won the game where they put LeBron at point guard
Is,
that one time.
No,
Remember
the Lakers won that game.
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. And
It
then
was the first game they played this year.
like the last game they played
in the series.
Okay, so the Lakers are up 2-1 on the Thunder so far. Did they play 4 or 5 times this year? I think they played 4.
I think the only reason
four,
some
yeah.
teams play against each other 5 times was because of the play-in.
Well, yeah. I
And
mean,
the
I,
in-season
no,
champions.
I think it's like their division. I think it's their like the.
No, but they don't play
Pacific or
teams
whatever.
5 times.
I think they play. I don't know.
It's only 4 times,
I
but
don't know.
because of the in-season,
Yeah, I'm
they
bugging.
played certain teams more.
But
That's why I feel like
Yeah,
the Bucks
continue,
played the
sorry.
Pacers like 18 times.
All right.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
the transition is gone.
I'm sorry.
But going back to
Okay.
last, really impressive win for the Thunder. I mean, granted, Devin Booker was out, but you saw the Thunder come out winning for most of that game, and then they give up a lead. They get punched in the mouth. Bradley Beal comes on strong in the fourth quarter for the Thunder. They start hitting some threes. Kevin Durant passed out of doubles, and their shooters made some shots. So they gave up that lead. And then the Thunder came back. They responded, didn't fold on the road. SGA and the boys come out with a dub. Jalen Williams, another great game. Pritch, what did you make of their bounce back, especially giving up a lead and showing some toughness there to not give up on the road and come out with a win?
Yeah, exactly. I think Shea's biggest strength is that he's so consistent and that you get the same thing from him every night. And I think that's an indicator of a superstar. I think being able to consistently be that guy every single night and drag your team. Drag, I guess, is whatever, but be the main guy on your team and help them in clutch situations and be that guy consistently against, good playoff teams with good players on them, And I think this is a big indicator, personally, that they are, a really good team. People chat, like you guys chat shit about them and say, oh, they're not ready yet. But I think they're very ready, I think and even when teams, like for example, Giddey, right? You've seen the clips of Giddey being left open, but he was 2 for 4 from 3. Like, I think kind of do that consistently. That's like a good thing. But even so, they have so many options without Giddey, right? They can just not play Giddey in a series if they don't have to, I don't think they have got Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, they can play case on Wallace.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Hayward. Yeah, exactly.
Hold on. I gotta give a quick shout out to Lou Dort, the Dorture Chamber last night, guarding Kevin Durant, ASU product. Back home in the Valley last night, and he did his thing out there. Very unheralded player, but he's a
put your fork up at him.
Forks up,
Forks.
He's a defensive stopper that could really improve his 3-point shooting as well. But had to give that quick shout out to Dort.
He's been a great fit. He's an amazing fit, and he's been there since that bubble season, right? So he's been great for them. Even since he's been in the league, he's been a rotation guy. I think he was a starter on that team, right?
He was, yeah.
He started,
Rockets.
Yeah, and he had the big
the only
game
thing he'll be
Denver.
remembered for in that series, though, when James Harden blocked him, he tried
He
throwing the ball off.
He had 30 that game, right? Didn't he hit
jumped over it, bro?
He hit wasn't he 7 for 10 or something from 3? Like, he hit an amazing amount of threes.
He was clamping Harden that whole
series. Yeah. Harden ain't shit, but but yeah.
He was a little baby.
But yeah, he's a great fit, and I think that's the amazing thing with OKC is they have so many assets, they have so many young players, so many guys who can fit into different roles, who can be versatile. And Hayward's perfect. The only thing they could ever need is, as I said before, is another big. Otherwise, and Mike Muscala is a great pickup. I think he's a perfect big because I know I'm glazing Mike Muscala a little bit hard here, but this is a big man who can shoot. He can do all the Chet things while coming off the bench and being a solid backup for him.
Did he play last night?
I don't know if he did. I'm just saying in general,
I love
Mike Muscala. Doesn't matter. I love Mike Muscala. So I just want to say that's going to be great come playoff time, having that insurance, right? Chet insurance, we could say. Because obviously Chet is, a skinny man. Yeah, Bismack Biyombo. They have Bismack Biyombo, so he played last night.
Oh, yeah.
But he's, again, solid depth at the big position. Sorry?
Busy Biz.
Biz money.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I love
that one series with the Raptors.
I mean, again, they're the 1 seed now. I think, personally, they're my second favorite team in the West, behind the Nuggets. I think that's going to be. I hope that's the conference final. It's going to be a great matchup. I'd love to see Jokic face off against Shea, and then how the Chet dynamic works. See how Jamal Murray plays. How the depth of the youth of OKC. I think it could really be like a 2012 OKC team, where they get to the finals despite not being maybe seeming a bit inexperienced, seeming a bit ahead of their curve, right? But just being that team already.
Rich, do you know who you just compared them to?
2012 OKC.
The 2012 OKC Thunder.
I just said that exactly, just like 2012. There's so many parallels there.
That's a team that I think if they didn't face LeBron, probably would have won it all.
Probably would have won multiple championships, bro. They probably wouldn't trade Harden, bro.
Yeah, it would have been completely different.
They would have traded Harden, I think.
3 MVPs on the team.
The thing we'll talk about the 2012 OKC another day, but I think there's a lot of similarities with that team in terms of all these young stars, and everything could really align for them, in the playoffs, and so we'll see. But right now, they're my second favorite behind OKC. I'm curious behind Denver. I'm curious what you guys think about them and how you rate them compared to other teams in the West at this stage, right? After seeing this win.
First, I'm going to talk about the game, then I'm going to talk about the Thunder in general. Well, okay, I really like the game.
Apologies.
No, you're chilling. Get better.
Sorry,
Love you. All right. All right. I was watching the game, and Thunder went on to a crazy lead because the Suns constantly just kept throwing the ball. Durant, when he was double teamed in the first half, he just kept he was basically just throwing high passes, easy for Aaron Wiggins to steal, easy for Jalen Williams. Shea pickpocketed him a couple times. Bradley Beal, he turned the ball over a lot. But then once the third quarter started, they began to knock down some shots. They kept the ball safe. They went on a crazy run. And then once the fourth quarter started, basically near the midway point, they kind of started turning the ball over again. The Thunder were playing good defense. Shea was going crazy, bro. He did not miss any mid-range jump shots, bro. It's just money, bro. But one thing that does concern me about the Thunder overall, and that was kind of shown in this game, is their lack of rebounding. And it kind of scares me because most of the top teams in the West, like the Nuggets, the Timberwolves, they're just really great rebounding teams. And Nurkic had 31 rebounds against them.
That's fair. But I think overall, they only rebounded by 9. only out rebounded by 9 in the whole game. You
But
know, which I think is
I
that's
don't
not
think
that
they
bad,
could.
honestly.
I don't think they could just like go far if they're just getting like out rebounded like a lot each game.
But again, 9 rebounds isn't that bad, I don't think, for one game, considering the other guy. Our team had a guy who had 31 rebounds. You know, like
bro,
that's
but the thing is,
game,
bro,
right?
they also gave up so many offensive rebounds. That's the thing that kind of killed
Only
them.
5 more than
Phoenix was able to get
only 5 more. Only 5 more than
only 5
than
offensive
they got.
rebounds is a lot, bro.
No, okay, 15 offensive rebounds, 10 offensive rebounds by OKC.
Yeah.
So there's a differential of
Giving
only
up
5.
15 offensive rebounds
Again,
is
it's
kind
not
of crazy, bro.
Yeah, but they also got 10 on their own, which is like
Yeah.
they kind of make up for it. And in the NBA, with so many threes now, it's a lot easier to get offensive rebounds than like in high school ball. You know what I
But
mean?
still,
Like,
I just don't think they could like win the championship or even like make it out the West due to like their inability to like fully rebound.
That's bad.
I just don't think Chet can keep up with these big boys out here.
54 from Trey Ball OD.
I mean,
No, that's all I gotta say.
Y'all know what I think about the Thunder. I think they're a good team. I just don't think they have the experience yet to make a championship run.
Neither do I, honestly.
I actually want to focus.
Listen,
I want to focus on the Phoenix part of this because y'all know I go to school in Arizona, so I'm around people that cover the team. I kind of have a vibe of the team. It's really interesting the spot they're in because they have a team that's built around 3 players. They all know they can't win a championship if those 3 guys are not all on this court at the same time. And it seems like they've seemingly barely been on the court at the same time together. I mean, there's a stretch where Bradley Beal's out and then Devin Booker's out and then 2 of them are out. Like, they haven't been able to build some solid cohesion. And if you watch the Suns, I think that, a lot has been made about their depth and how they don't have depth because they have, 3 superstar players that they're playing, but they have some solid players around them. I mean, Grayson Allen is having an unbelievable best of his career. I mean, in terms of his shooting from
like
the
50% from 3, right?
Yeah, I mean,
he's
solidified himself as one of the best shooters in the NBA this season. I mean, he's having a great season. You mentioned Nurkic; he's in there at the big. I mean, if Nurkic is your 4th best player, that's a good 4th best player. So they have.
I mean, okay, so
they got
my opinion on Nurkic,
Royce O'Neal.
They picked up some solid veterans at the deadline too. Royce O'Neal he's a solid piece. You can think whatever you want, but you have to at least acknowledge, he's a solid 3-and-D, a guy that can go play a little bit of defense for you. I mean,
don't forget about their secret weapon off the bench, Bull.
Hit a big D off, but okay, there's one thing about Nurkic that I think is forgotten about, and that is he's very injury prone. In the last few years, he's barely been playing as much, right? Like, I think he hasn't hit 55 games for a few years. He's someone who's not someone you want to necessarily rely on in the playoffs, right? Or rely to stay healthy. Because he's the only real big, right? Outside of him, it's like Drew Eubanks, and then again, Bull. Bull doesn't play for a reason, right?
No, Bull has been getting some more minutes, and I'm not saying Bull has to be a big.
He played 7 minutes. Okay, bro, come on. He played 7 minutes. That's it.
No, the last couple of games, he's been getting some minutes.
Yeah, but there's a reason he wasn't playing for any other teams. Okay, so anyway, so Nurkic has already eclipsed his season high in games. Like, okay, so this season he's played more games than he has in any season since 2018. Or, yeah, excuse me, 2018-19 year. Which, like, obviously that's like 5 years, and he's older now. He's had that bad injury, right? That he had, the leg. We have to understand that we can't necessarily rely on a guy like him to be your main big, I don't think, in the playoffs, especially because he is someone who's very slow and kind of unathletic to an extent, right? Someone who can switch. He's not someone who you can really run any kind of. He's someone who's going to get exploited in the playoffs. Like, remember, I think 2018 when Golden State played Portland, and I think conference finals, and then they did drop coverage on Curry because Nurkic just couldn't guard out there, and he just obliterated them, right? That's something. Those problems are still there. It isn't like Brook Lopez where he's kind of evolved as a defensive player as he's gotten older. He's still the same. He's great. He's great at what he does. Like the rebounding, the screen setting, the finishing on the basket. Otherwise, he just isn't that guy. And I don't think that he's someone that can be the main defensive big on a championship team. Never mind this team.
I think you can win a championship with Nurkic. Now,
with other rim protectors around, with other defensive players around him, I think yes. But the thing with this roster, you already have KD, who's he's big and he's a good defender. He's definitely.
I mean, Jokic is a good defender. They won a championship with him.
But he's a transcendent offensive player. I'm meaning like, yeah, but around him they had like Aaron Gordon, right? They had good wing defenders.
He's right.
They had guys
Aaron Gordon played a big role in the post defense.
That's the thing. Exactly, right? And that's the thing that Suns don't have that, you know? They have some wing defenders, but they don't have like a big defender who can go in alongside Nurkic. And even if they did, it wouldn't work with their roster because they have KD, Beal, and Booker have to be on the court at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And then if you're putting like a big in next to him, I mean, you can lose him like Grayson Allen, right? I mean, okay. All right, bless up. Praying for you, twin. But you good? He's just trying to detract from my point. He's trying to get me off track. But but yeah, as I was you good? Okay, but as I was saying, I just don't think that this roster is necessarily. I think it's going to kind of fall apart to an extent in the playoffs. As good as they will be offensively, I just think defensively they won't be able to keep up. And I don't think I've seen anything, even in games like tonight when Nurkic is being great. I don't think he's reliable enough for this team to go far. Personally.
Well, I mean, I think Nurkic plays a part in it, but I don't think they're not going to make the finals because of Nurkic. I think he's a solid piece. I don't think his defense is going to be the main reason. I think it's going to come down to the fact that these guys just haven't been on the court enough together to be able to play off of each other come playoff time. I mean, you've seen when you throw superstars on the court, it takes some time for them to get used to their play styles together. I mean, that's just with 2 superstars. This is with 3 guys who have historically been the main focal point on their teams in terms of scoring. I mean, Kevin Durant, when he goes to Golden State, he's the main scorer over Steph Curry. When Devin Booker was on the Suns, he was the main scorer over a Chris Paul. Bradley Beal, he was the main scorer on Washington.
Some shitty ass Wizards team, yeah.
So I mean, all these guys have been the alpha, and now you're asking guys like Devin Booker to take a little bit of a step back and be a playmaker, even though he still gets his in terms of points. But mainly Bradley Beal, who, has struggled to stay healthy this year, he has to come in and be the third option on a team, and that takes some time to get used to. And he's played with those 2 for a couple of games, but I just don't think there's enough cohesion there for those guys to be able to put it together in a full playoff series against a team like Denver, OKC, or anyone else at the top of the West. So I think Phoenix, I think they're a dangerous team. I don't think you want to play Phoenix in the first round, but I would not take them to go past the second round or anywhere close to the finals. But moving off a team that's like, contending, I guess Phoenix is what, like 6? So they're just contending to be out of the play-in right now. Yeah. We're going to move to a team that is fighting to stay alive in the play-in. The Golden State Warriors came out and got slapped by the Boston Celtics yesterday. It was bad, Alex. It was really, really bad. Boston came out completely dominated. What were your thoughts on, the Celtics coming out, and I think it was a 40-point lead for Boston after the first half? I think you're muted. But a 40-point lead for Boston after the first half. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown could not be stopped yesterday. There were comments by Draymond Green saying they couldn't even figure out the defense they were going to run on him. I think your mic is back now. Yeah, I think we can hear you. Okay. But
I don't know what the hell happened. My fault.
Yeah. Any thoughts on their inability to stop anyone on the Celtics yesterday, and question marks going forward with this Warriors team?
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to show us a difference in their fate since 2022, since the ring, how completely different these forces have been, with the Warriors kind of tailing off and kind of struggling to get back to that form, and then Celtics just continuing to be dominant. Obviously, they went to the conference finals last year, pushed it to 7. This year, looking at the best team in the league by far. I think it says a lot about, I just think this is a pure indicator of where there's Warriors.
You cut out.
I think you're muted again. All right, we'll go to Cheyenne. I think we'll let him figure out the mic, but Cheyenne.
How about now?
Oh, now you're back. All right.
What the hell? I don't know. Okay, I'm talking. Yeah, so personally, I found that I just think it's an indicator of I don't think they're that good, and I just think they're massively flawed, in my opinion. The Warriors.
Bro, you cut out.
All right, this guy is going on mute again.
Did your thing die?
Maybe his thing is struggling with the connection. We'll let Alex figure it out.
I think it might have died. I'm gonna go grab my other
now
one.
it's-
I have another
now
one.
it's
I'm gonna
back.
go grab it real quick. Okay.
All right,
One more.
I'll
I'm
talk.
gonna go grab it.
We'll have a short intermission from Alex, but
All right.
Diane, let's focus on the Celtics here. I know he was about to talk about the Warriors.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown looked
Bro.
like a dude.
The thing about Jaylen Brown, he always gets hot in like the first quarter or first half, and then like ends the game with like the same amount of points, basically. But the thing is, once he gets hot, bro, it's hard to stop him. That's when he starts doing like the little step back threes. But I don't know what the Warriors' game plan was, trying to like sag off him so far back. Like they were treating him like he was Josh Giddey out there, bro. He's like a 3-4 time All-Star, bro, and he's he's participating in like the 3-point contest, bro. Like he could actually shoot the ball. Like I don't understand like what they thought like would happen. Like I don't know. I mean, if they did that like to every superstar, they'd be down like 50 every game, I'm assuming. But also losing by 50 in the game is crazy, but being down 50 at half is wild.
I mean, I always think it's a weird dynamic with Tatum and Brown because they're two guys that could be an alpha on the team.
Mhm.
I think Tatum's recognized as the better player in the alpha, even though Jaylen Brown's like the highest paid guy in the entire NBA. But it's interesting to see if I'm not saying they're going to take that strategy of sagging off, but if other teams in the East will say, we're going to go get Tatum and we're going to make Jaylen Brown beat us because we think that Tatum's the guy that can really hurt us. Even though we know Brown can also hurt us, we think that we'd rather lose because Brown took over the game and beat us other than Tatum. But there's so many good guys on that Celtics team. Do you think that a team can really isolate Tatum and take him out of the game and force the other players on Boston to beat them? Or do you think there's too many good players with Porzingis and Brown? And I know we had that thing about Derek White, but Derek White's there, Drew Holiday. I mean, they just have so many pieces. Do you think you can really focus on one guy, or do you have to just guard the collection and let Tatum and Brown go at you, even if that means, they're going to go off for 40?
No, you gotta guard them as a collective because you let Jaylen Brown go off in the first quarter. Then once you start like kind of like noticing that and like locking in on him, Jason Tatum in the second quarter like exploded, and they each ended the half with like 29 and 27 points. So they didn't even do a good job of guarding either of them, is what I'm gonna say. But the Celtics, they just have too many options to just focus on. Oh shoot, to just focus on one guy. Like it's not like they have like a Wesley Matthews that you could little shot at Wesley Matthews. I'm sorry, but they don't have like just someone like that. Like they could just like leave open, like not even like leave open, but like not really like care as much about. They have too many pieces who are like too good. Is like there's too much to like have to worry about. You can't just like leave them open, let them like go against like really weak like defenders. You got to lock in on the Celtics as a whole.
All right, we have Alex back. Alex, we were just talking about, all the pieces. Oh, wow.
Sorry.
We were just talking about all the pieces that Boston has and how you can't really single out, a Tatum or Brown because even if you go to isolate a Tatum and make Brown beat you, he'll do it for them. Or if you want to focus on Brown, they have Tatum and Holiday and all those pieces. So we were just talking about how you have to kind of guard them at the collective, and that's what makes them so dangerous come playoff time. But I want to look at the Warriors side of this now. I know you're about to go into it.
Don't forget 1 second. Don't forget Porzingis and Derek White.
King Derek White. I mentioned Derek White and Porzingis. Don't worry.
I'm glad you did.
I mentioned both of them. But
better than Trae Young.
It was either 7th grade or 8th grade in the science class we were in, Adam, bro. When Porzingis got traded from the Knicks to the Mavs, I made a little Google Slides and it said Porzingis.
I love him.
All right, just real quick on the Warriors. Just give us thoughts on their direction going forward this year and maybe into the future. As things don't look too bright for them, at least with their chances this year.
Yeah, so I don't think they really have a chance of contending in the near future. I think the roster needs a big overhaul. I don't think Clay. I think they're gonna have some really tough decisions to make about Clay and about Draymond, about whether it's just. And the thing is, also, I think Curry seems like the kind of guy that would want to win with his guys, and he would want to stay loyal to, his teammates, like to Clay, to Draymond, to Steve Kerr. And I think their window's gone, in my opinion, as the top three on a good team. Unless Kuminga gets to like all-star status, gets to an all-star production, I don't think I don't think they're gonna ever get close to that again. And I like Kuminga, and as you guys know, I'm pretty high on Kuminga as a player, but like I just don't think that's gonna happen in time, right? For this team to still be contending, especially with I think they can't beat the Nuggets. Like we've seen this. They're too small for the Nuggets. They can't do anything about that. Every time they play, Nuggets are pretty dominant, right? So and then to get to the finals, you got to beat Denver, right? I think it's fair to say. So,
well, I mean, I don't think they can beat. I don't think they can beat anyone. I mean,
exactly, yeah. I mean, to be fair, they've won 13 of the last 16, right?
Yeah.
So
no,
they've been playing well, but I think what matters, I don't think they're that team personally. But I think they have a chance just because of Curry, his godlike ability, to just hit shit. Kind of like Jokic,
4 points.
Yeah, okay, no, not on Saturday, or yesterday. Right? But before that, hey, he was doing great. Shout out to him.
Would you say the Celtics neutralized the come bucket in that game?
I think they did. The come bucket was not pumping like usual.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna get off the Warriors. All right, we gotta stay. Go from the Bay to LA as we head over to the little Rui LA thing over there. But the Clippers, new rebrand, new jerseys, new logo, new everything. Steve Ballmer taking the reins here. They're gonna have a beautiful new stadium in Inglewood. I walked by it.
Did you see the video of those kids?
Yeah, because it's by SoFi.
Oh,
it's by SoFi.
Did you see the video of those kids breaking shit and then?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, devious.
I saw that shit was. Yeah, they showed their face to the camera too. They're fucking idiots.
Yeah, they're crazy.
They were what are you doing, bro? Like that's crazy. But yeah, it does look great. I love the wall idea. I think it's the problem with American sports. I think in general, especially basketball, is that there isn't the same fanfare and there isn't the same kind of intense fan atmosphere because there is such a high paywall for these things, right? Tickets cost so much, even though tickets lower end tickets aren't that much. I still think it's a big commitment for the local fans in the area compared to other sports and other places, and especially with the Clippers, they don't really have fans, right, in the same way that the Lakers do.
The wall is a glorified student section.
I have.
Good. That's good though. It should be a student section. In my opinion, they should give out super cheap tickets to local fans, local organizations, to kids. It should be super cheap, and it should be you should be able to, if you prove you're a fucking Clippers fan, you should be able to get tickets for super cheap, and then be super dedicated.
Send a video of them crying after blowing a 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
I will say I have been to a few Clipper games. My brother's a Clippers fan, so that's why we've been to a couple.
Casey.
Shout out Casey.
The Taco Man.
But I will say, I don't know if these fans are, really passionate fans, but they did have some fans to show up to the game. So I think we can dispel a little bit of the rumors of they don't have fans. There's a lot of people in LA. I think you'd be surprised at how many are Clippers fans. It doesn't compare.
They just showed up for the free Chick-fil-A.
Obviously, they will never reach the level of the Lakers just because of how big that brand is and how global that brand is. But I think the Clippers do have a fan base out there. But I think with Steve Ballmer,
somewhere out there.
I think what Steve Ballmer has done has been incredible. I mean, Ballmer, since taking over the Clippers, has completely changed the image of what the Clippers are. They're still viewed as the little brother, but they have some real pieces now. I mean, with Kawhi and PG and Harden, he's really made an effort to elevate their brand. And now you just look at the excitement around the team with a new arena. They're sitting at the top of the Western Conference right now. So big props to Steve Ballmer for doing that. But in terms of, the jerseys and the new logo, I think a lot of people were high on the jerseys, not as much on the logo. The jerseys, I think, look pretty clean. I mean, nowadays they don't do a lot in terms of the, big, logos and stuff on the jerseys. They just try to keep it simple with the simple script. I liked how the Clippers jerseys came out. I like the colors and everything. The logo, I don't know if it's super memorable.
I think it's cool.
It's
I like it.
But I think
is a ship, right?
It's different. I think the main point of all of this is to kind of separate themselves from what they were before and move into a new era. And I think all of this does accomplish this with the new arena, new jerseys, new look team. I think Ballmer's done a good job of kind of erasing what Donald Sterling, had done with all that whole situation, and moving on to a new era. So,
yeah,
Diane, I'll go to you. we obviously view the Clippers as little brother team, but
Little
I think
bro.
that they're doing good for themselves with this new overhaul of an image.
You
I'd
know,
say.
I would agree with the majority. I do really like the jerseys. They're pretty clean. I really like the red one. It reminds me of like the Lob City Clippers. But the logo, I don't really like it too much. I don't know. It's just like even though a Clipper is a shit, like when you're thinking of the Clippers, you just don't think of a shit. But like Adam, you do make a good point when you said that like they do like want to like kind of change how it looks, like kind of like a new chapter in their book, like separate themselves from like being the little brother of the
I
Lakers,
think it's
and they
tough.
kind
I
of
mean, I think you guys should understand the logo. I think it's like
it just looks
it's
stupid,
pretty
bro.
tough. I
Like,
like it.
dude,
They
Like
said it looks like a
it
cruise
doesn't even,
ship.
dude, it doesn't
I
even
think it's
really
clean.
look
I
like,
think it's clean.
dude. Sometimes it just looks like the scope on a COD gun. Like that's what it kind of looks like to me.
I like it. It's got like a compass vibe to it. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of cool. You know, I like it. I like the circular shape. You know, I think it's solid. Again, a lot of the new logos are kind of getting pretty similar, right? Like with the circle form, and it kind of loses some of the logos can lose their like unique, you know, traits. But I like this personally. I think it's improvement on the current logo. I love the jerseys. I love the color of the jerseys. Like they're so classy and clean. You know what I mean? They're just yeah, ooh wee. You know, I'm a fan. But yeah, overall, I'm a big fan. I like the stadium looks great, you know, and I think this will be a big step for the Lakers. Noticing the Clippers getting out of the Lakers arena and having their own kind of place and their own kind of separate fan base. Because I think even when the Clippers play home games, there are a lot of Lakers fans there or like tourists, right? Who want the cheaper tickets, or especially when the Clippers play the Lakers, like that's when you see a lot of Lakers fans. I mean, even in Sacramento, when I would say a Kings versus Lakers game, like most of the fans are Lakers. So you're never going to really avoid that. Okay, not most of the fans, like a good portion of the fans that I was around were Laker fans, were LeBron fans. Every time LeBron was like every time they heard LeBron's name, they would like start like, you know, going into like seizures because they were so excited, you know. So these are kind of you're never going to get away from the Lakers, but I think this is a good step, and I think the wall is a great idea to make yourself independent. But personally, personally, in my opinion, the thing with European soccer or football, right, is that the games are like once a week or at most twice a week. So it's a special event. It's like football in the US where, you know, this is a 1 week thing. You look forward to it all week. It's a bigger impact, right? NBA games are so often and you get so used to it, right? Where it's always like, oh, I don't want to go to the game. I'll just go to the one in a couple of days, you know, or I'll just watch it on TV, right? Where it kind of loses this like special value, you know? And I think that that's something where it's really hard to like, replicate the idea of having a super passionate fan base. But even in college, it's twice a week, right?
Well, it is hard. I think college still does a good job of it. There's some venues that are just unbelievable. I mean,
but again, it's only
granted,
twice a week,
the
right?
capacity is less. There's less seats in these college stadiums, but if you go down, you know, down south or you go Big 10 or Big 12, the environments are pretty incredible.
Yeah, but again, like
college.
that's twice a week. It's rare, right? It's a smaller
Well,
thing.
I mean, they play games on like a Tuesday, you know, after.
No, it's Thursday, Saturday. Most
and
places are Thursday, Saturday.
well, I know the Big 12 plays games every day of the week, so they play Monday,
Oh, really?
Tuesday. Well, they don't.
Okay.
The teams don't play.
But like,
every
okay,
day.
obviously,
They
yeah.
play
Also,
the
So like,
schedule.
okay, so
college
it's
is more convenient.
College
for,
is
like,
more
the
convenient,
kids.
but I think the whole
Yeah.
premise of it is the paywall is a big thing because in the NBA it's much more steep the prices for tickets than, you know, in college. And
Yeah.
I think when it comes to bringing out these passionate fans, you know, you obviously have the season ticket holders, but there are a lot of people who might be more passionate than someone else, but paywall prevents them from coming to games. And I think Ballmer does
Exactly, yeah.
do a good job of making it a bit more affordable. So I think the Clippers actually will do a nice job of bringing in fans just because of, you know, Ballmer has mentioned even like if you're on the wall, he's going to somehow track how much you're cheering and standing. So
Yeah.
I think Ballmer is really a guy that is all about fan experience, and I think he'll do a good job of, you know,
Top
growing
owner in the league.
he is a great owner. I mean, I think he'll do a good job of growing the fan base and overall making it a good experience for anyone that comes down
Definitely, yeah.
to watch the Clippers, especially Clippers fans. I think, you know, he doesn't like when it's a Clippers home game and they're playing the Lakers and just overrun by Lakers fans. So
Even in the new stadium, it will be like that.
we'll
sadly.
see. We'll see.
Hate to break it for them, but that's how it will be.
But speaking of teams with a future, I think the Clippers have a pretty good future, but we're going to introduce a new segment here. We haven't.
Real quick, shout out Russell Westbrook. providing homes for people in LA.
Yep, Russell
Yeah.
Westbrook, stand-up guy.
Captain Curry.
Yeah.
He rocks the poor people.
I just LeBron chase down blocks your transition.
Yeah, that's happened twice today, guys.
I know.
But we're gonna do a draft every week. It's gonna have a theme. This week's theme is gonna be directionless. So we're looking at teams that don't have a great future and can't really contend for a championship this year. Obviously, there are teams out there that might be making a run at it. You think of in football, like the Rams, they give up everything to go make a run at it that one year. There's teams that put all their chips to the front of the table to go win it this year, but sacrifice the future. We're not talking about those teams. We're just talking about teams that aren't great now and don't look to be great in the future in terms of their rebuilding process and their championship hopes. So I know, Pritch, you came up with the idea. We're going to start with you. We're going to do a kind of round robin. We'll go Alex to Cheyenne to me. And are we picking two or
Let's go snake. We'll go snake. We'll think three. Let's do 3 rounds.
I mean a snake. I didn't mean to say round.
Yeah.
Snake,
So
yeah. So you go first. Pick your team.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Okay. I'll just clarify the kind of the criteria for this. So it's the teams that don't have a clear path to contending in the near future, and also don't seem to have a clear path to successfully rebuilding, right? And successful rebuild is, getting the players, getting the assets, and preparing yourself to win in the near future, or in the future in some sort by having these young players, having these picks, etc. Right? For example, the Spurs, right? Although they're bad this year, they have a great chance of being good in the future because of Wemby, right? That they have their cornerstone. So even though there are teams that might seem to have, they're just rebuilding, they're tanking or whatever, they don't necessarily have a direction because they don't have that piece yet, right? And so, yeah, to start off, I'll go with the first overall pick. I'm going with the Nets. A pretty easy pick. They don't have control of their own picks, so they can't really rebuild like that. They're kind of the players they have right now. They're not good enough to tank, but they're not bad enough. They're too good to tank. They're too bad to compete. And I think they're hoping that Mikal Bridges would make that superstar turn. But he's a very good player, but he's definitely a complimentary player. I think with him being kind of nice ego trying, but with him kind of going to Brooklyn, we've kind of seen him. He's done more offensively, but he's kind of sacrificing a lot of his defense, and he's being less efficient. And I think that's why he's a better fit. I'd love to see him on New York. I don't know if Brooklyn would ever trade him to New York, but I'd love to see him on OKC, just a really competitive team where he could be that final piece. But for the actual Nets, they have Cam Thomas. He's a solid piece. He's fine. But yeah, overall, they're kind of in a bad situation for any team, reminiscent of the mid 2010s Nets. So yeah, let's go.
And Nets are off the board.
I'm gonna pick a similar team to the Nets. I'm gonna pick the Hawks, who are right now in the play-in. Right now, like you said, Alex, they're not good enough to compete with these top teams, and they're not bad enough to get a top pick. And even if they could, they gave up their picks to the Spurs for DeJounte Murray. And I think it's kind of inevitable that this offseason that they do trade one of them, hopefully both of them, for their future. Because right now with the Hawks is Trae Young and DeJounte, they never really found it together. They don't really work together. They don't fit that well together. And the Hawks, they're just not talented enough. They're not as good on defense to compete with these top teams. I don't know, they just don't really have that much of a direction right now unless they trade one or both of the stars.
Yeah, 26 and 34, they're not really going anywhere at the moment. As we've seen, as you guys know, I'm not exactly the big believer in Trae Young, and I don't really think that,
Prayers up though for Trae Young after his horrific surgery.
The pictures afterwards is so funny, but yeah, there's an overall thing with Trae Young where I don't think he's ever going to work in that lineup with the players that they can put around him. I think if that's your main guy and you've questions about whether he can even be the best player on a competitive team, then you really need to reassess where you are as a franchise. And I think that's the definition of not really having a place to go. Where with Trae, I don't think he's going to be the best player on a good team. He's also too good. He's too much of a floor raiser to rebuild. Or to just, trade him, whatever, because he's not becoming.
Yeah, I don't think Trae Young could be the best player on a championship team, but he could definitely be like the second or third, I'd say.
Maybe third. I think it depends on the situation.
In my opinion, don't yell at me.
It depends on the situation. We'll leave it there for today.
All right. So you guys went with two teams that seem like they're still trying to win. I'm gonna go with a team that is not trying to win. The Washington Wizards.
Ooh, I like that
mean, because they haven't proven that they can pick, with their first round pick, like they can find good talent. I mean, they have so many flops like throughout their history. I don't like the young pieces they have right now. I'm surprised they didn't ship off Kuzma. I felt like they could have got something for him, trade him to a contender. I mean, Kuzma's not a guy you like build your whole team around, and then like, Jordan Poole, like I'm not like excited about Jordan Poole. So it's just things are not bright in the future for Washington, even though they figure to, have some picks here. I don't think they're going to do anything with the picks. They're not good at drafting, and it's not like they're working with anything right now. I think did they overtake the Pistons for the worst record in the NBA?
Yeah, they reclaimed it. They reclaimed it, I think. They're still tied 90-51, but I think it was just at the tiebreaker.
What was it? I saw something. It's like
you don't want to be that team.
They could match like the Pistons losing streak, but to match it, they would play the Pistons.
Yeah,
at like 27 or 28, I think.
And then for my second team, I'm gonna kind of go back on track of what you guys had in mind. I'm gonna go with the Warriors. Steph still has a couple good years in him, I think, but he's getting old. I mean, he's getting up there in his 30s. And then, the pieces that they have around him, Clay, obviously devoting a lot of money to him. He's not good anymore. Chris Paul, wasn't a big fan of the signing back then. Still not, or was it? It was a trade, right? Still wasn't a big fan of the trade back then. Not a fan of the trade. Now, I don't think they're competing this year. I like their young pieces a little bit more than the Wizards with, Kuminga. He's a guy that I don't think you build your team around, but he's a guy that you can build with. Moody in there, they haven't showed a lot of confidence in Moody. At least Steve Kerr hasn't, Steve Kerr has been extended. So I know some Warriors fans, not a fan of Steve Kerr. I don't think he's a bad coach. I don't think he's, one of the best coaches in the NBA, but I don't think he's bad by any stretch of the imagination. But, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Draymond also getting old. Their stars are past their prime. They're not competing for a championship anywhere, in these next couple of years. The only thing that could save them is signing a big free agent. They'd have to dump a ton of salary and sign Giannis. That's like the only thing that could save the Warriors here in the near future. But I think pretty good start for me. Warriors and Wizards, two teams in, different places right now, but I think heading in the same direction.
Definitely. I completely agree. Good picks. All right, Shine, what you got? This your second pick.
For my next pick, I'm going to go in a similar direction like the Hawks. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bulls. And DeRozan's a free agent this year, and they didn't trade him. They could have got at least something. They probably wouldn't have got much. But then they're going to be forced in a position where, like, they either, like, lose him for nothing or, like, because, like, DeMar DeRozan is, like, market's not going to be huge. Like, he can't really, like, he probably won't, like, sign somewhere for a crazy amount. So I feel like he'll probably inevitably, like, re-sign with the Bulls, and they've shown that they're, like, content with being, like, okay. And with this whole Zach LaVine situation, like, they haven't traded him yet either. And Vucevic is on the roster. I mean, they just have, like,
doesn't make any sense,
players. Yeah. Exactly. Like, they don't fit.
Like,
the only bright spot on that team right now is Kobe White. They also didn't trade Alex Caruso.
Exactly. For Caruso, you could
like they could have gotten a decent amount because all the picks they gave up for Vooch, they could have basically like got them all back by trading like Caruso and like everyone, like anyone else.
They seem super content with just being like this, and that's like.
And this is how it's been for the last couple of years, and they haven't shown like, this new resume. Like they haven't like shown that they could like really draft anyone either. They took Patrick Williams. I mean, he's shown like some flashes, but like even then, this is like his fourth year. He hasn't really shown that he's gonna be like a cornerstone of a franchise.
He's a player,
Exactly. Yeah, like he's gonna be a solid player, but No one that'll be like
they're not having high
a big
picks in
part
the
of your
recent drafts
franchise.
because
Yeah,
they just have to
Kobe
be
White
big,
is
so.
like the only bright spot of like the Bulls season this year.
Yeah. And then I have 2 picks right now. So my first pick is going to be Houston. I like Şengün, right? I think Şengün is a very good player. I think he's a pretty good, he's a very good big. I like him. There's a lot of Jokic stuff with him that, he's kind of like a poor man's Jokic, and he's very young. So I think there is some growth there. But I don't know if he is your guy to build around this. So I think you want one more guy around him where he can kind of like Jamal and Jokic, right? Like a duo, to kind of help each other grow. I don't like Jalen Green. I don't think he's going to be. He's not their cornerstone. I don't think. I think Jabari's cool, but I think there's a ceiling with him. I don't think he's. I think he should top out like a very good role player, an elite role player. Someone's going to be a starter on the championship team, but like not that co-star you'd want next to Şengün, or even like a main star, right? Dylan Brooks. That's a big contract. I don't think 80 million. I think it's good for them, but I don't think he's going to raise them anytime soon to championship. Same with Freddie. I've seen that like he struggles. He's at the worst shooter. Like him and Jalen Green are like the worst 2-point like field goal percentage in like the league or something like that. I forget what side it is, but like they're both inefficient. Not the best. I just don't think they're not gonna rebuild anytime soon, and they're not gonna contend anytime soon, which I think is a perfect reason for this. They're just kind of stuck in the middle as like a 12 team.
One thing about the Rockets that I do like though is that this offseason they did establish like more of a culture by signing all these vets because I feel like people like don't remember how like
they were bad.
the
Yeah,
Rockets were last year. Dude,
yeah.
they're like Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, like just like chucking shots, and like Ime Udoka, he came in.
He's so bad.
And, like the beginning of the season, they were playing really well too. Like they already
Yeah.
improved like so much from last year. That's why I do have like some hope for them, even though like they don't really have outside of like Şengün like another like complimentary star, I'd say, in the future.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem, right? That's where there is like a lack of direction, right? Because like where they're not really going and like they don't have they may have it. I mean, they kind of have a direction, right? But they don't. There's no real means to get there. I'll shut up now. And then my second team is I'm gonna go with I think let's see. I think I'm gonna go with Detroit. I think Detroit is a good pick for this. I think Detroit isn't gonna. I just don't think Cade's the guy on a team. Front office has proven to make terrible decisions. But even waiving Mike Muscala, like Mike Muscala was playing so well, he was making Azar Thompson so much better. He was such a good fit. Finally, like a shooting big man. Isaiah Stewart, he's all right, but like he's not that good. They had a shooting big man next to these young guards. So they can have space to attack the rim. Guys like Jay Nivey and stuff like that. Like these are guys they need competent teams around them and shit. I was gonna say something. Sorry, I just bugged out. Yeah, Cade isn't that guy, bro. Cade isn't that guy, and I think rebuilding like 5 years. I don't think they're gonna successfully rebuild anytime soon. They just don't have a good team. And now I just think this season is proof that Monty Williams cannot coach for shit. As we've seen, there's just an overall lack of passion and a lack of willingness. I mean,
Chris, have you seen the team that he's working with?
Okay, the roster itself isn't that bad. The decisions he makes and the rotations he makes.
Isn't that bad?
He's the one who started Killian Hayes for half the fucking year. Okay.
Yeah,
he's the one who did that.
I got you on that. I got you on that.
Yeah, ID was coming off the bench. ID's coming off the bench. Okay, like that's his decision. He was playing fucking. Who are they starting? They were playing 2 non-shooting bigs, playing Duren and fucking Stewart together as a starting 5. That was the 2 bigs you cannot put next to each other. And he's doing that at 2024.
A stretch, though.
I will say we got
like these are his. It's a bad roster, but he's incompetent with his rotations. He play all bench lineups, and they already suck. Like they'll get destroyed. They'll be like a 4-minute stretch where it's just a bench, and they'll lose by like 10 points. That group will have like a net rating like -10. Like he's the one making these decisions. Yes, he's completely accountable. I
will say I agree with most of your points. We gotta chill on the Cade slander, man. Don't go at my guy Cunningham like that.
No,
I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, what is he supposed to do with this team? Like, the guy has been. He got drafted to Detroit. Has had to deal with this his whole career. You're really gonna slander my guy? Like, I mean, come on, leave Kate alone. That's all I gotta say.
No, man. No, he thinks like, fucking homeless click productions. I don't know if you guys know Click. You guys know Click, the YouTuber? Okay, never mind.
All right, try and go.
Anyway, yeah, continue.
For my next pick, I'm gonna pick the Utah Jazz. Kind of just like I'm like picking them because they're in the middle of the Western Conference right now, like just like outside the play-in. Not really gonna do anything with the roster they have. Lauri Markkanen, he's a great player, but he doesn't really fit with like their timeline. I mean, I don't even think they really have a timeline. Their timeline's kind of everywhere right now. They got like Lauri Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Sean Collins. Like, it's a weird
Sean
team.
Collins.
I mean, it's a solid team, but like kind of weird. I mean, I don't know. The only like really young player that they have is Keontae George, and I'm really excited for him. Huh?
They have like Walker Kessler too, and they have Hendricks, and they have some pieces. I think Ainge is a great executive, and I think he really knows what he's doing. And I think the fact that they have a pretty weak roster on paper and are still like 27-34, which is like pretty good, considering like on paper that they're a lot weaker than that, record suggests.
Yeah,
but like they have a good coaching staff.
Like
you're right, I agree. Yeah.
Like, because Utah's not like a free agent destination. They're not gonna get anyone else to sign.
The Mormons, brothers, maybe we're gonna find some white people, and they're gonna flock to the Jazz. Just once you have Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag. Just wait.
Oh, but the thing is that they're not good enough to get Cooper Flag even. That's like
no, but yeah, for real, like I agree.
Yeah, so like I think trade, marketing, get some assets. Danny Ainge just pile up more picks. And then just like try to draft another like Donovan Mitchell or something.
Me personally, I cannot fade Danny Ainge. I know what that guy has done. Every trade it seems like he like fleeces the other team. I don't know how they just keep letting him do them like that, but it seems like the guy always ends up with a haul of draft picks for some guy that was never worth half of what.
Yeah, he just got a first for Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah,
show the man some love.
I can never fade Danny Ainge, no matter how bad they are. Even if they're a mid team that isn't going to have a high draft pick, he's just insane.
That's crazy, bro.
All right, one more pick.
All right, so I got the last pick here. Deciding between Portland and Charlotte. Both kind of near the bottom. They're really the two teams that are left that kind of fit this bill. Not a fan of either really, but I'll just say Portland. I know they got some, decent pieces there with Scoot and Anthony Simons and Sharp there, but they don't really have that established superstar. Charlotte does.
Respect.
LaMelo Ball has to stay healthy, but we all acknowledge LaMelo Ball is an all-star caliber player, or around that.
Okay, I think Brandon Miller is more their piece. I think LaMelo's gonna be a complimentary guy around Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller has to be a superstar for them to. I don't think LaMelo's gonna be like an all.
You think they're building around Miller rather than Ball?
Yeah, I think they should.
Well, I think they acknowledge that's a strong duo. I think that's a good starting point for them. Miller,
something.
There's not a lot around them, but they have Brandon Miller and they have LaMelo.
Mark Williams is solid too.
I will not tolerate any LaMelo Ball disrespect on here.
I know big baller brand.
I think LaMelo Ball is a good player. I think the emergence of Brandon Williams. It was interesting seeing him come into the draft and everyone kind of slandering him a little bit for the whole situation that was going on.
Yeah, I hated it as a prospect. I was really good on Scoop.
But I saw him at Alabama. I believed in him, doing good things in the NBA. Good for him. And I think Charlotte has, two pieces to build around there. So I'll pick the Trailblazers as a more directionless team. So with that, let's list out our teams. I got who did I even have? Warriors, Wizards, and
then Portland. I had who did I have? I had the Pistons, I had the Nets, and I had the Rockets.
I had the Hawks, Bulls, and Jazz.
All right.
I would say one thing about Portland before we wrap up. I think Scoot is still going to be a great player. I don't think you can judge a point guard off the first 50 games. He's a
No,
very good player.
Yeah.
I got
I
you
think
with that.
he's still the
haven't
franchise guy.
I haven't
I
seen
I
it.
think they
think
have a
they're-
direction with
the
him.
Thing is, like,
Signings.
they're kind of like they're not fully committed like to the rebuild too, because they still have like Jeremy Grant on their team.
Yeah, they have
And they have
some
Anthony
they have some-
Simons, who plays the same
They have
position.
some
as
interesting
Scoot.
pieces. I mean, you have DeAndre
That's
Ayton on
valid,
that
though.
team too. You know, kind of strange what they're doing. But with that, let us know down in the comments who you think
Sir.
won the directionless draft. We'll do this draft every week. You know, just a different topic. Let us know if you want to see any topics in the future. But with that, that concludes episode 4 of Before the
Sir.
Buzzer. As always, go down, like it, share it on all platforms, on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. Was, long episode today, boys. Long one. We thank you if you made it to the end of it.
We know you did it, but thank you. Yeah, regardless.
For whoever made it
For
here,
whoever made it
we'll
to the
give you
end.
guys. No, I'm playing.
All 4 of you. No, comment your favorite team that we picked. If you made it to the end.
for the
Exactly.
directionless
If
draft.
you
Drop it in the
made it
YouTube
this
comments.
far, comment one of the.
But yeah, we'll try to keep the episodes a little bit shorter in the future. But that was the end of the live episode here.
It's dedication today.
In the building.
Yes, sir.
First of,
And
hopefully
the place
we'll
to be.
a couple of these in the future where we're able to get together live. But that'll do it for episode 4. Boys, thank you for watching, and we hope you have a great week. We'll be back next week, hopefully with another live episode before I leave from spring break.
Let's hope. Yeah.
Hopefully I won't be sick by then.
Yeah, hopefully the boys won't
Me
be
too,
sick.
gang. Me too.
Big props. They powered through it today. Cheyenne and Alex both sick.
For the culture, we got to do it.
Flu game.
Let's get out of here. All right.
Yeah.
That was episode 4 of Before the Buzzer. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye.
By that way.